This is one of the first interviews of Yes, I Said It on domestic violence. As I was getting on the elevator and trying to find the apartment of the person that I was very nervous of meeting, I wanted to know why. Why did she murder her abuser? I knocked on the door as my heart stopped beating for a moment. I was greeted by a friendly face. And then I met her, a lost soul looking for help, looking for answers, forced to murder her abuser. As I spoke with her, I found out that she loved her family. She had faith in God, but had lost faith in our justice system. She was facing 8 years for murdering her abuser. I wanted to hear her story, and now you will hear it too.
The law varies, I believe, amongst minorities. Excuse me.
No, don't say excuse me. This is your time.
Yes, I'm an innocent woman, and I know without a doubt, and they know too, that I had a right to protect myself. And I say to any woman that no matter what you go through, even if you're in that battle, you're in a domestic violence situation, you're fighting for your life, at your nearest point, be blessed and know that you're still living. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, I feel like this, no matter what man says, it's about what God says. And I have no control, I feel like this, over the justice system and what their decisions. I never thought that I would be railroaded this way.
Now, when you say railroaded, explain it to the people that don't understand what happened during this case.
Well, basically, point blank, period. I was tried for. Let me tell them about the. Okay.
You can do it.
Yeah. Okay. So off top, the age of 26, I was indicted for murder on a $50,000 bond, April 21st, 2015, for protecting my life.
Say that again, please.
Life.
Say protecting who?
My life.
Thank you.
And because I had the right to protect my life. And I felt like this, at the end of the day, if you was in my shoes, what would you have done? The thing is that when it comes down to the justice system, what you need to know is that it's not like what you think that's the TV and what a lot of people say and what you see. It's not. It's. I'm still hurt. I'm grieving. I'm grieving. I had to grieve 3 times. First of all, I had to grieve because I had to protect myself against my partner. He lost his life because he couldn't control his actions. My children. I lose my children because I lived and I protected myself like a mother's supposed to do. Third, I'm convicted and they're trying to send me to prison. Well, that's what they're going to try to do, and that's what legally is what's happening. I've been sentenced to 8 years incarceration. I was facing, like I said, first-degree murder. I decided to go on to court like I'm supposed to because I was innocent. I didn't do anything but protect myself. And I fought it all the way to the max of, like I'm supposed to court. I pled not guilty. The justice system does not say, I don't want to feel like I'm pointing fingers. What I'm trying to say is that they didn't care. It was all about politics. It was all about what we can make this person look like. They looked at it as us women or anybody going through domestic violence as a person that's just supposed to, you know how we see on the news all the time. A man has walked around or, you know, have killed or hurt the woman that lived.
Mm-hmm.
And with me being I would say a woman that actually protected myself, and it was exposed that way, which there was no problem with it being exposed because I protected myself. But I believe the color of my skin, and I believe that's not something that they wanted. I really am trying to break this down for you guys to understand because it's deep.
It's real deep because
it's deep.
When you explained to me that you were in this relationship for all these years with all this abuse, the night that you protected yourself, your children were in your home. There was a witness in the home.
Yes.
The witness's statement was not utilized in the evidence. The jury requested the evidence from the witness. The judge said, and we have the paperwork right here, where the judge said, you have enough. You have whatever they said in court and the law. Thank you. Keep arbitrating.
Yes.
So was this conviction lawful? That's the question. There are going to be women everywhere that are going to do what she did to protect herself. So is everyone going to go to prison for that? And the gentleman can just walk free? Or once he's murdered, it's over? You can't even bring up that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Facts.
He was institutionalized in a mental hospital.
Facts.
Okay? So she has all of this evidence. And she protected herself one night. And now she is being labeled as a murderess.
Yes.
Now, is that fair? No. That's not fair.
Right.
Now, my problem with the court case is this also, is that you have jurors, not one of them were black, so was she going to get a fair case? And the judge that did the case, he has a bad rap as well. Yes. His father has a bad rap as well. So we need someone to look into this.
Please.
Because I smell corruption. As my mother-in-law would say, I smell a dead rat on the line.
My kids, you know, I want them to be questioning and being like, they know I'm innocent, but I'm not in their life while they're young right now. And they're begging for me, my daughters. We was close. We was very close. We was together every day. And then when this happened, I lost everything in one day. My whole life changed like this.
But you did what you needed to do at that moment. So you cannot live in shame. Don't live in guilt and fear. I told you that's how we get down. It makes it get in our mind. The way our mind works, it plays out more than what it is. Okay. So I need you to make sure you stay around your family and positive people. You don't want people feeding you anything negative. If it's not positive energy, stay away from it. And when you feel your mind drifting, don't go off by yourself. Right. Don't go driving off by yourself and secluding yourself.
I do that already so much.
You don't want to do that because that's how he gets us. When we're alone. It's like being in the Sahara Desert and you have a group of elephants going through. The lions cannot attack the elephants as long as they stay together. But when that one elephant decides he want to eat off that tree by himself, that's when they get him, when they're alone. You have to stay, even when you're having your worst day, you get around positive people.
That's never been my life. I never had a life. Like I've been with since I just never had a life. They sent me to prison, and then I'm gonna be like 30 something. I never had a life. Like I never been able to be free.
I got you.
Free.
Well, the thing is, when I'm gonna do on my end, I'm gonna make sure the story gets out. That was my job today. Is to make sure.
You guys.
Stop apologizing. Stop saying you're sorry and take your voice back. Don't be afraid to speak. Stop saying you're sorry. Sorry for what? Because you have feelings, because you have emotions. You should be mad. You should be angry. Don't be fearful. You should be, and I hope I'm not saying this wrong, you should be proud that you protected yourself. Because it was either going to be him or it was going to be you.
It was a Sunday. He had my kids. We had a meeting spot because I was afraid to go to his house. So we had a meeting spot at a store to pick up and drop off the kids. So the day before, we met at the store. He came to the car. I had a cell phone, but he didn't know that I had a phone. So he came to the car. He was looking through the car trying to see if I had a phone, and was just asking me who I was talking to, and we just had a big argument. So I got the kids. I went home. At the time, I was working for a hospital. I got up to go to work. The kids were home with my mom. I pulled into the parking lot for work. I opened the car door. Kind of had this leg out the door and had turned to get my purse. When I turned around, he was standing in front of me. And he was standing in between myself and my car door. And he just kind of said, what was that shit you was talking last night? And I kind of pushed him off me and was like, I don't have time for this. I have to go to work. I'm tired. I don't have time for this. And he stepped back. He took a gun from his back. He raised it up, placed it on my cheek, and he shot me. And I immediately saw blood dripping from my face. I looked at him and I was like, you shot me. I couldn't feel anything, but I knew that he did. And he raised the gun up again, and this time I kind of blocked like this, and it went in this arm and came out.
Whoa.
And so now I'm screaming. Usually at the hospital there are thousands of people walking in and out of the emergency room. This night there was no one. And I'm screaming and I'm just saying, baby, why are you doing this to me? I'm sorry. I love you. And again, he didn't say anything. He just stepped back, raised the gun up again, and this time I tried to block like this, and the bullet went in here and broke this wrist.
Ooh.
And now I'm just like, what did I do? I'm sorry. Let's talk about it. And again, he didn't say anything. He just raised the gun up, and this time he shot me in the head, and I fell to the ground. And I remember it going black, and I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, and I immediately started praying, and to myself in my head, just saying, God, if I'm about to die, please forgive me for my sins, but I'm not ready to die. And just like that, I could hear and I could see, and I was laying face down, and I remember looking up and I could see stars in the sky, and something just said, be still, just lay here. And I laid there, and he put his foot on my back, and I held my breath, and he took his foot off, and he put his foot on my back again, I guess to see if I was breathing.
Right.
And I held my breath, and he took his foot off. He walked around my body, and I heard a gunshot, and he fell to the ground by my feet. And even then, I was afraid to move because I was like, what if he's joking? What if he's trying to see if I get up? And I saw the gun laying by my feet. And I just said, you know what, I'm just going to get up and run. And I got up and I ran into the emergency room and I collapsed. I woke up and the trauma doctors were saying, you know, Amber, we have to take you to the operating room. Like, we have to take you now. And I was like, no, I don't want to go yet. You know, I want to see my mom. I want to see my dad.
With bullets in your body.
With bullets in my body. And they said, no, Amber, you have to go now. And I said, no, I will not go now. Because I really thought I was about to die. And I just wanted to see my parents. And my mom and dad got there. And, you know, I kissed them. They hugged me. And I went to the operating room. And I woke up in ICU.
And you're here to tell somebody about that.
I am here to tell somebody about
that. I hope, ladies, that you're listening. Men, I hope you're listening. Because her story may not be your story. She survived it because she was supposed to be able to be here to tell you what to look for and not to stay. So, moving forward past that, how do you function now? Do you have any neurological issues because of the gunshots or?
I do. I have nerve pain in my face when it gets really cold outside. The nerve pain is just I just can't even describe the feeling. But mentally, I'm okay. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to talk again. Even a few months after this happened to me, I had to return to the same hospital to work and pass by this place where I was shot every day. And I was so hurt. I was hurt because people blamed me. I was hurt because no one wanted to hear my side. I was hurt because I still had to deal with his family because of the kids. I was just so broken and I was so hurt that one day when I was at work, I said, you know what? I'm just going to kill myself. I'm going to walk out to the curb and walk out in front of a car. So I went to the curb and I kind of stood there for a second just to kind of get the nerve to just do it. And I closed my eyes and I was about to step off the curb when someone put their hand on my shoulder. It was a security guard. And he says, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm going to stand here with you while you cry. And from that, from my pain, from my hurt, from my sorrow, I birthed my organization, Dove.
Your mouth, like you're in your right mind. You have your cognitive working. Did your relationship with God change after this?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I have always been a religious person. But after that, spiritually, I mean, how can it not? How can it not? I am, now that I'm here in this space, I am so honored that God saw so much in Amber from Tyler to go through this situation and be able to sit here and share his message. Like, that's amazing.
So that's how you birthed Dove.
That's how I birthed Dove.
So tell me, what does DOVE stand for?
Yes, Dove is an acronym for Daughters of Violence Empowered. And it's geared toward teaching young girls the importance of healthy dating, the warning signs of a potential abuser, because that's where it started for me. I didn't know these signs as a young girl. Had I known these signs, this wouldn't be my story. Also to help other survivors, victims, find their voice, to become empowered so that they too can help other women.
So what do you do with Dove? How can, say there's somebody that's going to watch this, and they have a daughter that's starting to date, or they may be in a abusive teenage relationship. Would they reach out to your organization? Like, how would they do that?
They can reach out to my organization. I also holds little seminars where I have parents register their teen girls. I have other ladies that come in to teach self-love. I teach the importance of healthy dating. We teach mantras, yoga, just any and everything to reach our young girls, to, you know, just show them, hey, you know, it's not right for a young man to put his hands on you. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to be you. Just so, yes, ma'am. Reach out to me. Like I said, I also post when I have these events. Not too long ago, I had a Pack a Purse campaign where I had people donate purses, and they packed them with toiletries, colognes, just little things that teenage girls need, and I hand them out to young girls.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
I wish a man would start an organization like that.
I do
because
too.
It's good that we teach the young girls,
but we need to also talk to our boys.
We need to talk to our young men on how to handle a woman.
Yes.
And without being abusive, handle her. Because I believe it's an epidemic. I believe it's a silent one.
It is.
Because I believe you could be sitting beside somebody at work or driving in the highway and they're being abused, and we'll never know.
We never know.
Especially with the makeup that we have these days.
And especially in our community, we don't talk about it. And we're so, what happens in the home stays in the home. Why don't we just break that?
I agree. But just as well as you're teaching the women, the young ladies, we need to teach our young men.
Yes, ma'am.
So that we can stop that cycle. I believe, like I said in another taping that we did, I believe if we knew our history, we wouldn't abuse each other. Because our men were abused, our women were abused, used, called wenches. We were baby making factories to keep the slave population up.
Yes.
So this has been an amazing. I feel like I met heaven today. I really felt like I met heaven today. Like, apparently God loves you.
Thank you.
And I'm not saying that people that did not survive, that God didn't love them, but it's amazing to meet someone who really, you saw death.
I did.
Like, you actually experienced that valley of the shadow of death that we read about so much.
I saw it.
And then you survived it, and I'm here touching you and talking to you. You made it through it. When it happened to you, I never knew you. But it's like when heaven meets the earth, it's like, psh, and you got to tell your side.
Yes, ma'am.
And let me say this. Families, if you know your son ain't no good, and you know he beating on that girl, say something. You know Junior crazy. You knew he was crazy when he was 2. Okay? Stop pretending that we don't know. You know that man is hitting on this girl that he's bringing to dinner on Sundays. And we turn our heads. We don't say anything because we don't want to get him worked up, or we don't want people to think our family is crazy. But let me tell you, the blood is on your hands as well. If you don't say something and you know something, this young lady could have lost her life because we like to do this. We turn that blind eye. we turn that blind eye. Don't turn a blind eye. If you see it, say something. Tell Junior, stop touching that girl. Don't you hit that girl. When you see them when they're young and they're playing too rough with girls, correct them.
Yes.
You don't handle little girls like that. And correct the girls, because we do have women who abuse men as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's both sides. We have to teach our children love, respect, and my one last statement before we cut this off. You know Junior's crazy. Say something. That's all I got to say.